My name is Isabel, and I will be your moderator this evening. Before beginning, allow us to thank our sponsors: Southern Alchemy Wellness for the use of the space, Public Supermarket for the snacks, Automated System Consulting for audio-visual support, Deborah Teams for Haitian Creole interpretation, and Patricia for Spanish interpretation. Now allow me to share with you the Origin Foundation's mission and our core values. Origin Foundation's mission
Misión de Origin.
increase the level of education and participation of BIPOC communities in positive behaviors to fight the different layers of disparities affecting these communities. Our core values consist of authenticity, being true to ourselves in our originality, preservation, to give honor to knowledge that has been transmitted through generations, and conserving the important aspects that define cultures. Respect, we keep in high regard each other's contributions to our joint journeys, recognizing individuals' importance and value. Integrity, honesty mirrored through a moral compass that upholds our action. And sharing, to occupy a collective space of love to promote exchange and growth. Today, we have the honor of being educated by no other than Allison White, leading this important gathering and information session, embracing menopause, insights, and strategies for a smooth transition. Allison P. White is a Florida-based certified herbalist and holistic health and wellness professional whose healing practices centers Eastern medicine, natural remedies, and caring for the whole self. In 2014, Allison founded Naked and Natural, a plant-based skincare line that centers self-care, health, and love with vegan-friendly products and community-based workshops. Naked and Natural uses organic, natural ingredients packaged in eco-friendly materials to minimize harm to the environment and maximize the alignment of mind, body, and spirit. A compassionate and dedicated health professional, Allison uses her love for learning to explore the myriad ways nature can be used to contribute to overall wellness. Allison earned a bachelor's degree in business management, as well as bachelor's degree in health science and master's degree in oriental medicine. She interned at Tao of Wellbeing in Bradenton, Florida, acupuncture and herbal therapies at St. Petersburg, Florida, and healthy body acupuncture in Venice, Florida. A professional in health and wellness for over a decade, she is a member of the American Herbalist Guide, AHG, and holds a clinical herbalist certification from Traditions School of Herbal Studies. Allison leverages her caring, generous spirit and dedication to lifelong learning to expand her brand and contribute to her community through workshops and interactive presentations. She has shared her expertise and products at the Essence Festival and Herb Day, an annual showcase of holistic health professionals and services, featured in Solo magazine and a special guest for the Origin Foundation. Allison sustains deep ties to her community through partnerships with local entrepreneurs. Naked and Natural can be found at acupuncture and herbal therapies. Let us welcome Allison White.
Hello. Thank you, Isabel. I appreciate it. Okay, well, I am Allison with Naked and Natural. And first and foremost, thank you guys for spending your Friday with me. I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about menopause and how to navigate this natural and powerful time in a woman's life. So we are going to cover estrogen and what it is, the changes your body goes through during menopause, how to deal with the common menopausal system, how to take care of yourself and feel good, stay healthy during this transition, and using menopause for personal growth and feeling strong. So those are the things that we're going to cover today. Now, I always like to give a disclaimer. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. See your trusted clinician for that. However, I'm going to add something different today. I will add that in this time, in this transition in women's lives, your doctors sometimes feel as if they're brushing off your concerns. And a lot of women feel very unseen and unheard of during this time. And this information is to basically arm you with additional knowledge that you can take to your doctor and do your own research, because ultimately you have to be in control of your own medical facilities. You have to take care of your own body. So this information is so you can take it to your doctor or expand your own research and learn about yourself moving forward. So first and foremost, what is menopause? Menopause is defined as a natural decline in women's reproductive hormones, and this is basically when the ovaries stop releasing eggs. So that is how menopause is defined. Now, I'm going to jump from menopause and go right into what is estrogen. Estrogen is to a woman's body what testosterone is to a man's body. So basically, it refers to the compound that makes a woman ovulate and become fertile. However, that is not all that estrogen is, and that's not all it does. It plays a major role in the body. Some of the functions include it helps with bone density, it helps with mood, eye health, muscle strength, energy production. It helps with your libido. It helps with brain function. And interestingly enough, this is why during my research, it's saying that why women think differently than men because of estrogen. So I didn't know that, and that was definitely interesting to know. Now, there are a few different types of estrogen in a woman's body. There is E1 or estrone, spelled estrone, if you want to look that up. It's the main form that is produced after menopause. It's formed in the adrenal glands after menopause, liver, the fat cells, and you still get a little bit from your ovaries. You still get a little bit from your ovaries even after you go through menopause. So I'm not going to talk too much into estrone, only because it happens after menopause, post-menopause, and we're just going to focus on menopause today. Now, E2 or estradiol, during a woman's childbearing years, this is the main form of estrogen, which is mainly produced in the ovaries. It basically stimulates breast development and many other functions that women go through during puberty. It helps with mineral absorption. It helps to build bones. It helps to decrease LDL, which is what we call your bad cholesterol, and increase your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. And it also helps to balance your triglycerides. And by balancing your triglycerides, it keeps women from getting heart disease and heart attacks. So that's what mainly E2 or estradiol does. Now, E2 also helps with, if it's too low, it can cause fatigue issues. It can cause memory problems. It increases your risk of blood clots, and you can even get depression if your estradiol is too low. So you definitely want to, like, learning what it is will allow you to balance it out when you find out a little bit more about the different things that you can do. Now, the thing about E2 is that the body prepares you for when you're going through menopause. The body prepares you for the extra estrogen that you're going through by adding some more fat. So if you find yourself gaining weight, if you find yourself, just I don't understand what's going on, it's because your body is doing what it's naturally made to do, which is store extra estrogen. So when you are going through the menopausal symptoms, okay, you're going through menopause. We're going to store this extra estrogen and slowly release it for when it is that you need it. So even though we're like, oh my God, we're gaining weight, this is a bad thing, your body knows that it's a good thing. We've just been conditioned to think that it's a bad thing. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Now, the third form of estrogen is estriol. And what it does is unlike estrogen 1 and estrogen 2, the estriol doesn't stimulate your uterine lining or the breast tissues, and it also protects your intestinal tract, your intestinal walls. So Asian women and vegetarian women have been found to have more of the E3 in their bodies. So that's why they have a lower rate of breast cancer and issues, because they're eating what I'll talk about later, which is phytoestrogen. So that's something that you definitely want to keep in mind. And phytoestrogen you get from plants, you get from herbs, and I'll talk about the different plants and the different herbs that you can get phytoestrogen from. So those are the 3 or the 4 main estrogen, but there is also something called xenoestrogen, which is not the good type of estrogen. So xenoestrogen is basically an estrogenic compound that is basically from environmental pollutants, which mimics estrogen. So you'll find this from things like synthetic and industrial chemicals, solvents, lubricants, and byproducts. They are from flame retardants, they're from pesticides, they are even from plastics. So these are things that you have to keep in mind when you are, thinking about what's going on in your body and thinking about like estrogen, and especially like xenoestrogen, which is definitely not good for you. Now, what it does as well is that it can cause breast lumps. It can cause uterine fibroids. It can cause endometriosis. So being mindful of where and what xenoestrogen is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. On top of those things that it can cause, heavy bleeding, cramps, hot flashes, weight gain, not the natural type of weight gain that your body naturally does. So you want to be mindful of what xenoestrogen is, and you want to be mindful that you're staying away from pesticides. So if you are planter and you love to plant gardens and you love to, plant your own food, don't get people coming in there spraying with pesticides, especially if this is foods that you're going to eat and feed your family, because you could be introducing xenoestrogen to your daily diet. Now, I want to jump from estrogen to progesterone because they all work hand in hand. Now, progesterone is made in the ovaries before menopause. It helps to regulate your menstruation, and it also supports pregnancy. It basically what it's doing, it's keeping a good environment for fertilizing and implanting eggs. After menopause, jump in the gun here. It's not all that it does. It helps with bone production, it relieves depression, it enhances sex drive, and it also supports your thyroid function. So that's all the things that progesterone does. But after menopause, it's made in your adrenal gland. It's no longer made in your ovaries, it's made in your adrenal gland. And it's made at a decreased rate. But if you increase your progesterone levels, you can maintain your bone health, you can prevent blood clotting, you can balance your blood sugar levels, as well as support your thyroid. So keeping your progesterone levels up is something that you want to keep in mind. A lot of people are thinking, well, I'm not going to have kids anymore, or it's not something that I have to worry about, but it's a part of your hormones that your body really does need. So you really need to continue to support that through plant supplements and herbs. Now, a couple of herbs that is really good to keep your progesterone levels high is chaste berries, as well as one that's known as false unicorn. Add that to your repertoire of information. So those are just the 2 herbs I'm going to talk about in regards to progesterone. So what you want to do is also be mindful and get your progesterone levels checked. Go to someone who is a hormone specialist, because you could be introducing these herbs and I wouldn't recommend it until you get your hormone levels checked. If you do that, it could be better for you than just thinking that you need it because you're going through menopause and you need it. Don't do that. First step, first step is get your hormone levels checked. I can't stress that enough. Go to somebody who is a hormone specialist. Sometimes your regular doctor will tell you that this is something that you don't need. They'll always say that this is something that you don't need. So go into a specialist that deals with hormones, that know how to read hormones, that know how to tell you what's low and what's high. You absolutely want that. Okay, so now that I've spoken a little bit of what the physical ramifications are, let's talk about the mental and the psychological ramifications of going through menopause. There is a grief period that women go through, and we do not talk about that enough. We're taught as women that the most important thing that we need to focus on is our youth and our childbearing age. After that, you are useless as a woman. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry, but no. Absolutely no. I mean, I'm sorry for those people who don't like cursing, but I had to emphasize it. It's really frustrating in our society that we are taught as women that we need to do for everybody else. So our youth, you're young, you're beautiful, you need to seek a spouse and, get married, and then you need to have children because that is what you're good for. And then, and let's not forget, if you can be quiet as you're doing all of that, even freaking better, right? Very, exactly. So now you've spent years taking care of everyone. You've taken care of your husband, your spouse, your significant other, you've taken care of your children and your extended family, whether or not it's your parents, their parents, whatever. So we put everybody before us. We put everybody first and put ourselves last. So now we're going through the perimenopause phase and the menopause phase. And we don't know what is wrong with us. We go to our doctors and we look fairly young. So when we go to our doctors, they're like, oh, this is not something you need to worry about. It's not all that important. And they brush it off and they brush you off. So you're at home crying, wondering what's wrong with you. You're like, your doctor says you're fine. All your test results came back normal. There's nothing, quote unquote, wrong with you. So why am I crying? Why do I feel depressed? Why am I stressed out my behind? You have no idea. But no one can tell you. Most doctors can't tell you what's wrong with you. And the elders in our society, unfortunately, I have to say, are trying to hold on to their youth because they were told that that's what they should do. So they teach their daughters that and our daughters that. It just keeps going on. So I hear too many people saying, my mother didn't teach me this, or my grandmother didn't teach me this, or, I didn't have an elder woman that I can go to learn about menopause. You hear of, a couple of side effects. Oh, you may have sleep issues or, insomnia or the hot flashes. Those are the main things that you hear about, but you don't hear about what do you do after your children leave home? How do you focus on yourself? Because you've spent, I don't know, the last 20, 30 years being conditioned to focus on everybody else. So now that you have downtime and your emotions are hitting you like a freight train, because ultimately what's going on is that you've spent years disassociated from this body that you're in, because you're taught that it was nothing more than childbearing and you. So how do you deal with all of that? And this is the emotional ramification of going through menopause without your tribe, without someone who can talk to or lean on to deal with what's going on. And what I can say is seek information. We're all in like a bubble. In the society that we're in, we go online, we get our information online. We're in a bubble. We don't necessarily go out because people. I don't have to say anything else other than people. Sometimes it's just a little bit too people-y outside. So, seeking additional information or additional crowd, it's just too much. It's too overwhelming. The world is also on top of all of that. It's moving so fast. So you're constantly trying to go get your coffee, go take care of this, make certain that your finances are in order, drink all the water that you can, all the things that you're supposed to do, but it becomes overwhelming. And where do you go to get that support? Where do you go to talk to people to tell you about maybe fibroids or to tell you about the menopause that you're going through or your estrogen or progesterone, decreased levels? Online, unfortunately, and sometimes the information there can be overwhelming, and sometimes the information there can be, what's the word? It talks around each other. It doesn't give you what you need. So my job here is to give you a starting point so you know where to go, maybe who to talk to and what the first steps that you need to do. Now, where do we go from here? I'm going to repeat. Find a hormone specialist. They will give you what you need initially. And then after that, it is absolutely 100% up to you. You, every single one of the women in here and those that I'm talking to online, you have lived with your body for years upon years. You know exactly, maybe not the right words for what you're going through, but you know what you're going through. And you know that if a doctor is telling you something that doesn't feel right, you should absolutely set them straight because they went to school for it and it's great that they went to school for it, but they're not living in your body. They don't know the side effects that you are dealing with. Besides the night sweats and the hot flashes, what about the brain fog? What about not being able to find your words? Because I'm telling you, there are days when I don't even know how to spell IS. Oh, what is that? Is or HIS? Like, which one am I trying to say? It is just absolutely mind-boggling what's going on. There's sleep issues. Either you have trouble falling asleep or you have trouble staying asleep. That is an issue as well. If we have spouses, significant other, lovers, whatever, low sex drive, and I'm going to add another one into that, dry vagina, low sex drive and dry vagina. Those two are not fun. They're not fun, and there are women that are going through that. They have to deal with weight gain, but weight gain is not necessarily a bad thing. Again, it's just your body preparing you and giving you extra estrogen so that your body can release it. So not bad. But the memory issues, the weight loss, the bone loss, skin changes. So, hey, are you taking your collagen for your skin changes? Does your skin feel less elastic than it used to? Are you having rashes or breakouts? Like, what are you dealing with? What are you going through in these changes? So these are some of the things that you can expect to go through while you're dealing with menopause. Now, here are some of the things that you can do to feel good and stay healthy during this transition. There are certain foods that can help reduce the symptoms of menopause. And I'm just going to throw a little bit of Chinese medicine. In Chinese medicine, menopause is considered what's known as yin deficiency. And yin deficiency really just means, to put it in layman's terms, it's your body losing a lot of its fluids, your internal fluids. Like when I say, your vaginal canal is dry or you're having issues with that, that is something to do with yin deficiency because your body isn't producing the natural lubricants that it needs because you're losing fluids. So yin deficiency is just you losing your fluids. And there are some some foods that can help you, like tofu. Tofu can help you with losing your bodily fluids. Mung bean is another one, but mung bean is good on two fronts. It's good to help cool you down if you're dealing with hot flashes, and it's good to help with the fluids. Black sesame seed oil is something that you can add to your diet, but I'm gonna put a little codicil in everything I say. If you try something for a few days to a week and you are noticing adverse reactions, stop taking it. This is information. My body is different from your body. So what may work for me may not necessarily work for you. It's trying something and seeing how your body reacts to it. You can tell with the changes in the smell of your body. You can tell in the changes in maybe what's going on with your skin, your breath, all of that. If you're noticing an adverse reaction that you're not liking after taking it for a week, then stop taking it, because that may not be something that works for you. So keep that in mind. So you have millet, green beans, black beans, kidney beans. Those beans are really good in regards to putting the fluids back in your body. Seaweed is really good. You have wheat germ and wheat germ oil. Calcium-rich foods is something that you definitely want to put in your body. You can actually get calcium-rich foods from certain herbs. So if you're someone that is a vegetarian, keep that in mind. Just look at the herbs that you can get calcium from. Vitamin D. I know we live in the state of Florida, Sunshine State, but I promise you, we do not get enough vitamin D. So you have to supplement vitamin D. The sun is hot. I was outside taking a walk today, and halfway down the road, I was like, what am I doing? It is hot for this. So I had to like turn back and go back in. Seriously, it is absolutely that hot. So you can supplement and take vitamin D. Vitamin E is another supplement that you can add to your diet. You want to take 300 IUs of vitamin D, somewhere around the range of 1 to 3 times a day. Magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral that you absolutely need. It will help you with your bowel movements. If you are yin deficient, you'll notice that maybe you'll start getting constipated. You have constipation issues, maybe before you weren't having constipation issues. So magnesium can help with that. It can also help with sleep issues as well. So it's good on 2 fronts. B complex. B complex is good. It's wonderful. But be mindful if you are overly heated all the time. Don't overdo it with the B complex, because it could create heat in your body. So another thing that anyone in here likes honey? Okay, I absolutely love honey. Honey is good, but royal jelly from the bees, that's really good as well. Yes, royal jelly. There are different websites that you can get royal jelly from. And it lasts up to about a year in your fridge, 5 years. And if you freeze it, if you get it and you separate it, you can freeze it and it'll last 5 years. The other thing that you can do with royal jelly that will increase its longevity is mix it with honey. So if you mix royal jelly and honey together, you can either just mix a little bit, keep it on your counter, or keep it in your fridge wherever you feel best comfortable, and just take like a teaspoon a day, and that will help you with energy production. It will also help with replenishing the fluids back in your body. So that is something. The normal dose is about 100 to 400 milligrams daily. That's the beneficial dose. Now, plant estrogen. Some of the plants that you definitely want to look at is plants like Dong Quai. D-O-N. This one is actually a Chinese herb. There's two ways that you can spell it. It's Dongquai, Dong Quai. Or another way I've seen it spelled is Dangui. So those are the two different spellings. So if like you look it up a little bit, you'll see how beneficial it is, and it usually tells you how you can take it and what you can do with it. Motherwort is another one. Saffron, as expensive as saffron is good. And funny enough, you can mix literally you do not need a lot of saffron. You need literally a pinch, if not a pinch, then like 3 stamens of saffron. And you can actually mix it in with a little bit of the royal jelly. And you can take it, so like you mix it all together and leave it on your counter and just take your teaspoon to tablespoon daily. That will help. If you don't like royal jelly or you don't like honey, you can just add 1 or 2 stamens in warm water and drink it like that. So that's your option. Chas tree or chasteberry, that's important too, that you can add to your diet. Another name for chas tree is Vitex. So Vitex is really important in regards to menopause. Yes, chas tree or chasteberry, another name for it is Vitex. Wild yam.
Yeah.
Okay. So wild yam is also really, really good. Yes, there are wild yam creams that you can use directly on your skin if you don't want to make it into a tea, or you don't want to drink it like that, or get someone to formulate it for you. There are things that you can take that rubs on your skin and you'll definitely notice a difference. But wild yam is now, while I'm saying wild yams in general. So I'm talking about your root things like your yuccas and your what is it called? I had it the other day. Japanese, what is it? Japanese sweet potato. Like most of those root vegetables, your sweet potatoes, most of the root vegetables that's considered yam that is grown in the earth, start eating those. Those are very good for menopausal symptoms. Black cohosh is great, but you want to be mindful with black cohosh because there's some side effects to that not everyone agrees with, but it is definitely one of the top herbs for menopausal symptoms. False unicorn, basically, if you have a trusted clinical herbalist, go to them. They will help you. They will help you. Plenty of herbs. They will have information for you. Maca root is another one that is really good, especially if you're someone that is having problems. Let's just say getting turned on. Maca root is good for that. I couldn't find the scientific terminology. So let's just say have problems getting turned on. Maca, yes, that too. Maca root is really, really good for that. Adrenal rich herbs. You're going through menopause. I promise you, your adrenal glands are tired. They are exhausted with everything that is going on in life. You are stressed out, you're running here, you're running there, you're worried about your finances, you're worried about your life, your house, whatever. These things can deplete your adrenals on a regular basis, much less now you're going through menopause and it naturally gets depleted. So if you can find someone to formulate specifically for you adrenal rich tonics, that's something that is going to, it's going to help you. One off the top of my head, which is my absolute favorite, is Tulsi. Tulsi is absolutely delicious, but it is so beneficial it's not going to get rid of your stress, but it's going to allow your body to deal with the stress better, and you'll notice a difference. So pretty certain you have Tulsi here, ma'am. Okay, everyone might need to get some Tulsi.
How do you spell that?
Tulsi, or holy basil is another name for it. Tulsi or holy basil. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about today is using menopause for your personal growth and feeling strong. And I know this is going to feel interesting, but I'm going to say it anyway. This part is simple, but it's not easy. Diet and exercise. We hear it all the time. Is it easy? It is not. We've been eating certain foods our whole life. We are in a period of time where we absolutely 100% need the comfort. So our comfort foods are what's going to get us through it, or so we think. So we eat the pizzas because it's bread, and bread's delicious. I'm not saying give it up entirely. Go gluten-free or make your own. We can compromise, go gluten-free or make your own. Exercise does not have to be strenuous at all. The main thing that you want to do for exercise, even if it is just walking every night after you have a meal, you just go walking for half an hour to an hour. That is considered exercise. It's getting your heart moving, it's getting your blood pumping and getting things circulated. That's all you need for exercise. However, if you need more, add some weights. Weight training is really good because that helps build bone. You need that. So like I said, I'm saying it and I don't like exercising. Let's be for real. I don't love it, but I do because it's helpful. Would I like more exercise? Yes, I would. But taking it easy and taking it one step at a time is the way to go. And for those people who are hardcore, like Luana, you can either go swimming or you can talk to Natasha about weight training, and she'll give you one more. If you ever exercise with Natasha, you know that one more means you're going to do at least 10 more. It is what it is, but you feel good after you do it. So weight training with Natasha, that's something that you can add to your diet too. Now, bodybuilding, as I said, the other thing that is easier said than done because we don't like to feel vulnerable is therapy and emotional healing work. It is so essential because, as I was talking about before, you have your family that you're taking care of and you put yourself last. So now you have to start putting yourself first, finding hobbies, going to therapy, doing the catchphrase that people like doing, and I really don't like doing air quotes, but shadow work. Shadow work is important. Learning about the things that make you an asshole and embracing that. I mean, it sounds so crazy to say, but there are ways that you have. You can't be all good. You can't be all nice. You can't be all kind. There are days where you are going to be the asshole in somebody's story, and you have to be okay with that. And it's really, really difficult for us as women because we want to be liked. We want people to like us. We want to be considered nice, but we can't be nice to everyone. So we have to decide that if somebody wants something from us and we do not have the capacity to give it, we have to learn to say no. And that, how easy, that is one of the hardest things that we as women have to do.
Very easy.
Yes, but then you start thinking about, well, I said it no before, and they really need this thing, and I've been saying, like, so now you find reasons and excuses to say yes, even though you don't want to do it. So now you're resentful of this thing that you're doing. You don't want to do it, and now you've tainted this thing that you're doing for someone. And you don't think about it in terms of that, but really that's what it comes down to. So dealing with the things that are difficult, this is the time to start doing it. And you are right, Carla, you say no often enough and it becomes easy. The more you do it, and I find this funny that my brother used to say things like, what's your problem? Just say no. Like men, it's so easy for men to say, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. So now if you are a female and that's your brother, you're like, well, shit, if he's not going to do it, I'm not going to have to do it because nobody else is going to do it. So you start feeling the pressure. So it is easy for men to say no because there's always somebody who's exactly a woman is going to say yes, you know. But if you learn to say, if you learn in small things like, could you pick that up? I don't want to. I'm not going to. Start small. You start small, it start getting easy. And I promise you, the first time you successfully tell somebody no, and I mean tell them no and not give a reason for the no, mind's blown, and you'll walk away like, oh my God, I'm superwoman. I can't believe I cannot believe I said no and I didn't give a reason. I didn't tell them that my mother's sister, uncle is dying and I gotta go take care of that thing. No, you will feel like on top of the world for saying that no without giving that one little reason or that one little excuse. So what I'm saying in conclusion is really, this is the time to start empowering yourself. This is the time to put yourself first because you put everybody else first most of your life. If you can't put yourself first, I guarantee you will die trying. And you know what will happen? Somebody else will come and take your place. Do you want that? Do you want that for your family, for your kids, for yourself? You do not want that. The more you start slowly taking care of yourself, the more you'll start giving a shit more about yourself and almost, not quite, but almost start giving a shit about the world because the world will take care of itself. It will take care of itself without you there. So take care of yourself first. And ironically, the world will get taken care of if you start taking care of yourself first. So absolutely, absolutely fill your cup. I can't say that any better. So that is my talk tonight on menopause. So I'm open to questions. So any questions that anyone has, I will do my best to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will find it for you.
Can you share with us like what magnesium brand that you suggest?
Okay, so I can't particularly give you a brand, but I can tell you that if you buy magnesium flakes, you can make your own magnesium spray that you can put on your feet. You do not have to ingest it. As a matter of fact, from my research, I've noticed that you get more benefit from you, oh gosh, what do you call it? When you put it on your skin, yeah. So magnesium flakes, get magnesium flakes. You can either I want to say you can dissolve it in oil or water. Yes, dissolve it, and you can add your own essential oils if you want to do it that way. Put it in a bottle and just, yep, you can, absolutely, you can definitely put a few drops and bathe in it right before you get to bed. So magnesium, you can add a couple of drops of chamomile oil, but be careful with that because that is expensive. So if somebody is not infusing the chamomile oil for you, you can do, I wouldn't do essential oils. It's too expensive for the bath. Not unless you're going to pamper yourself that week or it's your birthday or something. But if you can get someone to infuse actual chamomile in a particular oil, you can use that in your bath because that is not going to be as pricey as if you're buying the essential oil.
I'm dying to know more about false unicorn. I've never heard of it before.
Really?
I'm so excited to learn more.
Well, talk, ma'am. So false unicorn is one of those herbs. Oh, I could talk forever. We're not gonna do that. Okay, I'll talk to you. Talk to you.
Talk to you later? Okay. And I'll ask the yin yoga question. Do you find that practicing yin yoga, or do you know practicing yin yoga like rebalances you energetic?
To be honest, I can't really speak on that. Because I want to say yin yoga is am I getting it mixed up with the hot yoga? Like, is it the same thing?
Restorative, it's more.
Okay, yes, I'm mixing up the yin yoga with the, yes,
And the one starts with the feet.
yes.
You know, but yeah, yin yoga is restorative. It's a
Yeah.
long poses and low.
Yes.
Low to the ground.
I don't know that answer, to be quite honest. I know the benefits of yin yoga and restorative. It does help with alignment and rebalancing. I don't know about with the insufficiency. I don't know.
I know I feel better after I
Yeah.
do it, and I was hoping I'm not imagining it.
No, okay, here's the thing, you are not.
Right.
Absolutely, you're not imagining it. I will tell you this right now. I'm not a big into yoga person, but if you do something and you feel better after you do it, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you are not imagining it. Your body feels it. And then another way to tell is if you look in the mirror after you do yin yoga and your skin is glowing and you look at yourself, you're like, you look really pretty today. I guarantee you it's because you're seeing that. It's because you do look pretty. It's because you.
Yeah, because I'm looking in the mirror like, okay.
So, no, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's not in your head because you can see it. And you know when you're depleted and you know when you don't feel good and you know when you don't look good. So why can't the opposite be true? Why can't you know when you feel good or you look good or your energy is much higher because you've done something restorative for yourself? So keep doing it. Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
Really start. I know. So you could be doing this forever still. I know.
Yeah.
One of the things that you talked about, I mean, you get a lot of things that I see.
Mhm.
I did, the most profound thing was going to my doctor. And she said, I've been telling you to follow the DASH diet, so just do that. And if you get caught, just put one leg out. I was like, what was I gonna do? Put one leg out of the blanket. I don't know. Apparently that was a thing. I think that's a thing, but that's what she suggested. So, but after I did go to an actual OBGYN, and so two things she did, was she told me, she gave me a podcast to listen to,
Mhm.
and it was about HRT.
Okay.
Guide, 2-hour podcast. She said, after you listen to this,
Mhm.
and she gave me a 12-month window, so I don't have to cycle in 12 months, then I'll,
Yeah, you'll be there, yeah.
So she's actually pushing HRT as opposed to, and I was like, well, I don't know if I would do that. but,
HRT?
hormone replacement.
Okay, I will tell you that no,
So that's why I'm at, so my question is, what do you think about hormone replacement?
I do not think that it's the greatest thing because if you are taking the hormones to replace, then it will retard your adrenals even more. And your adrenals can't make what it's supposed to make and do what it's supposed to do. And some people are seeing for many years, women have been seeing negative effects of hormone replacement therapy, of estrogen, synthetic progesterone and estrogen. They've not been seeing good things about it. In fact, it's causing some of the issues that regular hormone estrogen depletion is causing, so what's the point?
So
Yeah.
my other question is,
Mhm.
because you talked about everything, the other question is, you talked about the herbs that you should take and the foods that would be beneficial.
Mhm,
Are there foods that, you talked about the comfort food,
mhm.
but what I've noticed is coffee, alcohol, sugar.
Oh,
and stuff.
yes.
But those are
Comfort
there
foods,
options to,
okay, so,
that are not, you know, you can switch out, but
yes.
still get the.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Jesse, close your ears, Mr. Coffee Drinker.
I love coffee, I can't have it anymore, but
There's mud, which is a mushroom coffee.
yeah, I see.
That, I know, it sounds terrible, but you know what? But you know what? Try it. If you
Okay.
don't try it, you won't know. You might taste it and be like, oh, there's the bitterness that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Because there's certain mushrooms, reishi mushroom have a bitterness to it.
Okay.
But the good thing about reishi mushroom, it's an adaptogen. So it helps your adrenals,
Okay.
it helps your stress level, helps your fatigue. And if you brew it overnight, like I have a little $10 crock pot from Walmart. If you put that and holy basil in a pot with, let's say, another mushroom, whether or not it's chaga. Chaga is good for cancer. It's really good. Turkey tail. So if you do say a mushroom blend, so I'm sure she has some mushrooms in her. Okay, so you do a mushroom blend, you put it in a crock pot, you let it on low overnight, and the next day, sweetener honey.
So honey, okay.
Honey, because honey is very moistening.
Yeah.
It's very good for your microbiome, your immune system. It's really, really good for that. So you do that and you'll get that bitterness, but you'll also get that cordyceps. If you have cordyceps, add cordyceps. Cordyceps is really energy given. So you add cordyceps to your mushroom formula, take it home, do the brewing. That could really be beneficial for you. So now you have a replacement maybe for coffee, and then you have your replacement for your sugar, which is honey. Mhm. And I know I don't know if you still have your passion fruit
I do.
tree. Passion fruit is really, really good to help you sleep. So say you make a tea at night with your passion fruit, drink some, you have the passion fruit leaves,
Yeah.
make a tea with that. That is really, really good to help you sleep. So.
Anything with some wine.
You can, do not give up your wine, ma'am. Do not give up your wine.
I can't.
Your favorite, but don't overdo it.
I mean, I can sip of the wine and I just. Yeah, I go. It's just.
It's like anything else, moderation. You have a cup of wine every other night, you're fine. Seriously. Any other questions for me while we're here? We're having a good time on Friday night.
I do have one more question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you doing personal consultations or?
Yes, absolutely. I always do consultations with one-on-one to see what it is that you need. Yep.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
So thank you.
You are very
Really, really
welcome.
informative.
Yeah.
I am absolutely glad that I was able to share some information and make you feel good, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am.
Or if not, make you feel good directly, give you the information to help you feel good. That's my job. So if there are no other questions today, then I bid you all good night and thank you for joining me on this wonderful Friday evening.
Thank you.